This video is going to give you a little bit more information about what's available in Canvas and in Wileyplus. So you'll notice this is now back in the instructor view and not the student view, so your screen looks a little bit different. But in order for me to be able to show you the e-text, I needed to swap back over to my online version. So here's the link for the syllabus that we've covered already. What's inside is going to give you a little bit of information about the textbook and how the course is structured. So Vitalsource houses your e-text. So let's just go ahead and do that. Simply click the e-textbook link over here and it takes you to your, yep, that's right, e-text. All right, so table of contents is here. So this takes you to the entire text. And here, of course, you have each individual chapter. So if you're studying chapter 4, you can click here, and 4.1 takes you to the beginning of chapter 4. Now, let's go back and take a look at chapter 1 and look at some of the things that you have available in this e-text. Of course, this is the text. Well, I guess I should click back to it, right? This is the text just as you would have in a hard copy. So you have the images, you have the information. There are several really cool factors or really cool additions to an e-text that you don't have in a hard copy of the text, and of course that includes links. So you can go to particular figures. You can go to different areas in the textbook that are related to that particular topic. So textbook itself is pretty straightforward. You can search for information. For instance, if we want to look for the word terminology, you type it in the search box and it shows you everywhere it's found, and then you simply click that link and it takes you to the page where that word is found. If you choose to use the highlighter function, it will create a notebook of the things that you have highlighted, and you can color code them based on their importance. Labs, we're not going to use a lot of labs in your lecture class, but there are a few things in here that will help you study, including flashcards, where you can create your own deck of flashcards, and this takes you directly to that link. So there's some cool things in here. Just get in there and play with them. This little icon right here takes you just to the images. So there are 42 images in chapter 1. You click here, it just shows you those images, and this is where you can create your flashcards. So if you want to create flashcards for each chapter, of course, you can do so here. All right, now textbook, again, it's a textbook, guys. You know what to do with a textbook. You can print it if you wish to. You can enhance the formatting, make it easier to read. You can get it to read to you. So,
Chapter 1, An Introduction to the Human Body.
Yeah, pretty cool, right? Highlight. You highlight important content. So you choose your highlighter. And I think Miss Nick mentioned that. So bam, now we've got that highlighted, right? You can take notes if you want to, or you have the citation there, I'm sorry. And then, of course, you can copy the URL here. All right, so that's your e-text. Let's go back now to the modules area where your content is. All right, tips, help, how to be successful in this course. A lot of good information in there. These 3 links give you short little videos, how to access your e-text, how to complete your assignments in adaptive practice after you have registered for Wileyplus. Be sure and watch these short little videos. The first thing you need to do is register for Wileyplus after you purchase your textbook and your Wileyplus access. So this is a short little video. We'll walk you through the steps in order to do so. Once you have completed all of this and you've watched the 2 videos that I'm going to post here, which includes this one you're listening to now, you will complete assignment 0. This shows me that you've been able to get in, that you know your way around, you can access the Wileyplus. Okay, this is not anything to study for, it's just your introduction to Wiley. Once you have completed all of the steps here in this welcome section, then the Intro to the Human Body, Chapter 1, will open for you. All right, so when you open each chapter, you're going to have learning objectives. Please do not treat learning objectives as a study guide. They are not meant to be a study guide. They simply give you big picture topics of these are the things that you need to focus on and learn everything you can about each one of these. Let me open that back up again and give you an example. List the 11 body systems of the body, or human body systems, representative organs in each, and their general functions. Okay, so you need to know what the organs are. What organ system do they belong to? And what do all of the organs in that system do together? Define homeostasis. Homeostasis is maintaining balance and set points in the body. But I don't want you to just give me a definition. I want you to understand what homeostasis is. And for instance, how does the body regulate temperature? Well, certain things happen if you're cold, certain things happen if you're hot. Those different mechanisms work to maintain body temperature, which is an example of maintaining homeostasis. Okay, so again, don't use your learning objectives as a study guide. Use them as a guideline for big picture topics. All right, so learning objectives. You have a link in each chapter to my lecture videos. So this is going to take you to my YouTube site. So I'm going to go ahead and open this right quick just to make sure that you've seen it and you know what you're doing. So here, Chapter 1 has 3 lecture videos. You click and you watch the videos. Now, watching videos is great, but you also need to take a few notes as you do so, right? Just like you would do in class. So the PowerPoints that I cover in my videos are available to you in 2 different formats. You have PowerPoints that are 3 per page, which is my preferred way of printing these out if I were going to take notes. So this is what you'll have. You watch the videos and take notes as you go through that content. Now, that's best for taking notes. However, if you're going to be looking at these PowerPoints online, I would recommend opening the 1 per page, much larger and easy to see, especially on small screens. Now, below the lecture videos and the PowerPoints, you'll see the different sections of the textbook. So this takes you directly to the content in the e-text for section 1.1. So some of the first things that are going to be covered in the video will be this. What is anatomy and physiology? What are body systems and how is the body organized? So let's click on section 1.2. And this is what you see when you click on those links. This is called the Learning Hub. Within the Learning Hub, you also have the textbook, but it takes you directly to section 1.2. Section 1.2, that's what we clicked on back in the modules, right? So it takes you directly to that area rather than to the beginning of the textbook. Now, here where you have content available, these are things that are in addition to your e-text. So let's open that. You have an overview of the cardiovascular system and all of the other systems. Pretty cool stuff. You open these, it helps you to understand those systems a bit better. Now, back to our Learning Hub. That was the area of extra content in addition to your textbook and the lecture videos. So this is study stuff, right? Things to help you understand better. Now, these are going to be specific to section 1.2. Levels of structural organization and body systems, because that's the link we clicked. Now, if you click resources, that takes you to everything, including the e-text, right? But there are your resources again that we just saw. Practice gives you quiz questions on this particular area, right? Levels of structural organization and body systems. So practice gives you practice questions from that particular area. You can access the text and go back to, okay, well, I don't remember what a molecule was, so perhaps if I click here, I can go back to the e-text on that particular set of content, levels of organization. Yeah, I know, it's pretty cool stuff. All right, and then here in the Explore area, these are all of the resources for the entire textbook, okay? So first you have the 3 chapter resources. You've got worksheets and flashcards that are related to these particular areas of content, but then you have a lot more down here. So you may want to do some anatomy drills. Okay, do I know these particular structures? This will be very helpful in your lab course. Some of the lecture concepts, there'll be some additional videos in there. Muscles in motion, this is going to help you. So I suggest you get in here and just play around with it. Now, this is something that is really useful because you're going to be learning a lot of terminology in your study of anatomy and physiology. So this helps you to learn different pieces and parts of words, the roots and prefixes and suffixes that you're going to hear me talk about and you're going to be learning about in your lectures and in your labs. All right, so again, that was in the Explore area. Now, what do you need with all this? Well, let's go back to this Learning Hub. There's your textbook. Those are interactivities, study tools. But what are you going to have to know? You have to know what I cover. What do you have to do? You have to watch your lecture videos. All of this is study tool. This is your textbook. You have to do your adaptive practice. That's your homework for each chapter. All right, so again, as you click on each one of these, it takes you to that area of the e-text and of the study tools available for that content. Questions? Yeah, I know, you're going to email me, right? Okay, so in addition to having all of this content, okay, sorry about that delay and interruption there, guys. You know, anytime you're trying to record something, that one phone call you've been waiting on has to come in, right? So again, my apologies for the interruption. All right, the other thing I wanted to show you, your adaptive practice, of course, will be your homework for each chapter. In that adaptive practice, you only have to score more than 60%. So 61% or better gets you 100 on that assignment. So you have these for almost all chapters. The chapters that don't show up with an adaptive practice, well, guess what? You don't have adaptive practice for that one. But for the ones that do, make sure that you complete each one of these and get those free points where you can, guys. I do highly recommend that you complete your adaptive practice at the end of each chapter's worth of coverage. So when you've watched all the videos and you've completed the lecture for chapter 1, do chapter 1 adaptive practice. Then, of course, you can go into the study tools, look at the chapter 1 content, do everything you can to reinforce that. So when you begin the next set of content, you don't have as much to process, right? Because you've learned chapter 1 before you move into chapter 2. The other thing I want to show you here is something that I put together for each of the chapters, and these are lecture outlines. Now, I do want you taking notes as you watch the videos because these are not complete lecture outlines. Again, this simply gives you some information about the different areas of content. Helps you to organize your thoughts. Take things like this and make yourself exams from them. This gives you a more detailed summary, I guess is a good word for it, of the chapter. Much more so than the learning outcomes. As you can see, the learning outcomes was what? 6 or 7 little bullet points. Here you've got a lot of information. But again, if you just study from these tools that are in here, you're not getting everything that's covered in the lecture videos. So use your lecture outline, use your learning outcomes, and use your PowerPoints as tools that you can use to take notes and to study to prepare for your exams.